My name is Michael Lenoci, and this is my story. So it all started on the 4th of July. I'm on a walk. Normal walk. I typically walk to my gym. And, it's just a normal walk. I'm not thinking anything's gonna happen. And, usually I'm just kind of people watching neighbors, looking at the houses, different apartment complexes, cars drive by. People riding bikes, and I barely notice, I see a squirrel scurry across, but something was off. It wasn't fast enough. There's things in life that you don't really know, like how fast a squirrel is supposed to move. I didn't think I knew that, but my brain caught something was off. And so I look at the squirrel and I go, jumped a little bit because I was like, whoa, he ran across my walking path. And I look, and he's just, he, later I find out it's a she, but as a man, I assume all squirrels are men. So I look to the right and I see him, her, it, they, them, sitting there but not running away, and I'm relatively close, and I go, that's interesting, and then I go a little bit closer, and it drags itself. It's kind of dragging itself like Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump after he gets his legs blown off. That's how, originally I wanted to name what we now know the squirrel as Teddy. I wanted to name it Lieutenant Dan because it was dragging its legs. So he's dragging his legs, and I'm like, oh no, that doesn't look good. And I was like, oh, poor thing. I really hit me hard. I was like, poor thing. And I went about my day and I left, and I just thought, I go, why did my day have to be sad? It's the 4th of July, and this squirrel doesn't have its independence anymore. I didn't think much of it after that. Tuesday passed. Wednesday, I'm on another walk to the gym, like I always do. My same walk, same routine. If somebody wanted to know where I was and at what time, they could figure it out because I take the same walk to the gym. And it pops in my head. I'm like, hey, how's Lieutenant Dan doing? Which we know now is Teddy. But how is Lieutenant Dan doing? I'm curious. I'm like, let me go check that area of the person's yard to see if maybe I'll see the squirrel hanging out. I mean, maybe it's doing better, I don't know. I'm hopeful, right? And sorry, this next part's a little hard for me. I see her laying there with her eyes open, what I think is dead eyes. I think it's dead eyes. Flies, there's these flies, these giant flies you only see around horse shit, like big flies. And I'm like, oh, this is awful. Eating her alive. She's alive. She's not dead. Because I see her breathing heavily breathing, and heavenly. Like you would tell her breath is headed to heaven. And I'm thinking, this is an awful way to go out, and I don't have a pistol. You know, this is California. I don't have a pistol to put her out of her misery, you know? And I don't know what to do. I can't suffocate her. I don't know, you know, how else do you put a squirrel out of its misery? And I'm sitting there, and I grab a stick, and I'm shooing the flies away. I'm like, get out of here, leave her alone. I don't know what to do. And at this point, I made the decision that I will not leave her side. I will help her. I will help get her to the next point in life. So, you know, I get some water and I pour it on her, and that didn't help. Don't pour water on a squirrel thinking that will help. The flies just were more attracted to her. I thought that would shoo the flies off. Sure enough, it made it worse, but she moved. She signaled to me, hey, I want to live. And I was like, yes, you do. You want to live, and I will help you live. So I had to find a box, because now I'm Googling. I'm frantically I'm like, what do I go, how do you save a squirrel? Who will take a squirrel in? You can't just go to a vet. I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. So first I read, they say get a box. Now I got to find a box. So I'm looking for a box, and you know, if you just open your eyes, you can find a box. There's boxes all over the city, you know. And I found a box, and you know, looked like a pretty good box to me, you know. If I was a squirrel in pain, I would want to live in this box, you know. Found it in like a, you know, not the kind of a sketchy area, but whatever. It worked. I put the squirrel in the box. Now I have the squirrel, and I give it some almonds and, you know, nuts and some water, and it's eating the almonds and water, and I'm like, okay, she's hopeful. It's looking good. I'm feeling good, right? Leave it. I leave the squirrel. I go about my day. I go do some shows. I go, you know, live my normal life, thinking, okay, things are gonna get better. What I did was I found contact. It was California Wildlife, all the way in Calabasas. It's the only place I found. They said, text this number. I finally got a hold of someone. I'm frantically calling people. Nobody knows what to do, by the way, with a squirrel. It made me realize I should have just put my head down and kept walking. But boy, did I not realize what was ahead of me. So I I get a hold of a place. It's in Calabasas, and I text the number, hi. I send the pictures of the squirrel, and they go, we can take this little buddy in, but not until tomorrow because we closed at 4 p.m. You know, I'm finding the squirrel at 4 p.m. So that's when I'm like, okay, that's when I made the decision. I go, oh, I gotta watch this thing. I gotta watch this thing overnight, because if I leave the squirrel out, it's gonna get eaten alive, and I'm not standing for that, and I don't want to live with that in my conscience. I take her back, and I think everything's gonna be great, and I come back to her. And maggots all over her butt. You know I hate maggots, and these maggots are all over the place, and you know, I'm freaking out because I think they're eating her alive, and I don't know what to do. So I call the only person I know who knows anything about animals, really, and I call Haley, and I take the squirrel to Haley, and you know, without her, I don't know if I would be able to do this, but we go to CVS, and we go back to her house, and she has a bathtub. You know, not a lot of men have bathtubs. She has a bathtub, and we clean Teddy, is what she named her, Teddy, which Lieutenant Dan. We clean the maggots for an hour. Clean them with dish soap and warm water, and you know, she's crying and she's going, you know, it hurts your heart hearing her in pain. And then afterwards I pick her up, and I just start drying her off with the towel, and we're wearing gloves and stuff because, you know, we want to be professional, and we blow dry her. I blow dry her a little bit. And, you know, at this point it's 3 a.m. and I have to wake up early because I want to do it right away to save her life, to drive to Calabasas, and I'm going at 7:30 a.m. So I put her back in a box, a nicer box with towels, and put poke some holes in it so she could breathe, and leave some little nuts in there and water. And I drive her. I take her the next morning. I put her in my car, and I put her on the front seat, and I drive her to Calabasas. And you know, I get to this place, and you know, there's cages everywhere. If you could see in the shot, there's cages everywhere. There's, you know, it's a place that looks like it takes care of animals. You would think it would be friendly and nice. And they say ring the bell if you're here to drop off an animal. So sure enough, I'm here to drop off an animal. So I ring the bell. And a girl comes out, a young girl, you know, maybe high school, maybe, you know, probably a volunteer, you know, probably not here for the money, but here for the love of animals, but also clueless, maybe a little clueless, walks over and goes, I could take the box from you. And I go, okay. I go, I have a towel under. I go, maybe take the towel with it. No, the box is fine. I go, it's just a little wet under the box, so I don't want the squirrel to fall through. Maybe, no, it's fine. I go, no, you're not understanding. I need you to put something under the box so the box doesn't rip open on the bottom, because it got wet, because the water moved around in there. So she eventually listened to me, which she should, because I'm her elder. But they took her in, and then they gave me a clipboard to fill out my name, my number, my email, and what I did to Teddy. I said I bathed it, cleaned maggots off of it, and you know, there's a lot of maggots all over it, and we cleaned, I mean, tens of thousands of maggots. I mean, they're that small, all over the vajayjay butt area. I don't really know the biological whatever's going on these animals. You know, for a moment I thought it was a boy, but then you see this thing, and I don't know if it was a butt or a vajayjay, but it was all just, it was bloody around there. So maybe something happened. You know, part of me was like, did she give birth? Was this, and maybe that's what happened to her, but who knows? Or maybe she got attacked by a bird. You know, we read things online, you can't believe everything, but she had a couple red marks on her. You know, who knows? Maybe she had an abusive husband. You know, we could go into so many theories, but the point is, I fill out this paperwork, and they come back and they go, well, thank you, and they hand me the box. They go, here's the box. I go, no. You take the box, throw it away. And she says to me, we don't have anywhere to throw the box away. You know, and there's a lot of things going through my head at this point, like, how do you not have a trash can? But fine, I take the box back. At this point, you know, what am I going to do with the box? It could still have maggots in it. So I take the box back, and I go, okay, so what now? And she's like, okay, have a good day. And I go, have a good day? Like, I'm emotionally attached to this squirrel. Maybe a hug, maybe a thank you, maybe we'll let you know, we'll call you tomorrow. It was very cold, just like, thank you. And I go, well, how will I know what happens? And she goes, well, you can take a picture of the email and email them and find out if you want. And I go, well, yeah. I mean, this is Teddy, Lieutenant Dan. I need to know what happened. And I emailed them today. I emailed them, and the response I got would affect me for the rest of my life. She was what they did next to her was they were able to help her walk again, and she was able to walk out of that place by herself into oncoming traffic, and she was hit by a car. And I was, how do you let that happen? Like, what are the chances? Are we done? I need a minute. Can we take a break?
Yeah.
Okay.